Somebody take these two girls, they're just too bad. On a stormy night, they are homeless, taken in by honest men to shelter from the rain. Instead, they took the lead, not just to take over an honest man's house, and try to take over his body. The story takes place at a beach house in Los Angeles. There is a family living here, Master David, Mistress Mary, and their two children. Today is Father's Day. Mary is away on holiday with her two children. David and the dog were left alone. It was raining cats and dogs outside my window in the evening. A love affair is on the way. Now David is absorbed in his work. Suddenly, there was a loud knock at the door. David opened the door carefully. There are two hot girls standing outside the door. Their bodies were already wet with rain. The girl told David they were looking for someone and got lost. David saw that they were pitiful, and invited them to shelter from the rain. When they came inside, David gave them a towel. The blonde excitedly introduces herself to David, said her name was Bella and the brunette was Amy. The two of them wanted to go to a friend's party. I got dragged here by a cab driver. David is a good man. Listened to immediately took out a mobile phone to two people called Dee. The two girls asked David to let them take a bath before they left. After all, they were soaked to the skin. David turned and brought them both bathrobes. Wait till the two of you get out of the shower. David shoved their clothes into the washing machine. The three men became acquainted during the conversation, after learning that David was spending Father's Day alone. Bella and Emma's cuddling with David was a comfort. David was a little tied up. He stood up and distanced himself from the two, but Bella and Amy insist. They approach David as they talked, but David always slips away, for David knew he loves only his wife, Mary. To see two girls so open, David even began to question their careers. Bella was about to lose her plan. An idea came to mind. She started asking David to dance. Just as David was about to fall, cell phone rang. The Dee driver is already at the door. It also means Bella and Amy are leaving. When David went to find them with dry clothes, two people hide into the bathroom to take a bath again. David covered his eyes as he delivered his clothes. He was caught by two people, and David is totally lost. The Dee driver waited at the gate for 10 minutes. Passengers were slow to leave. Angrily left. Early the next morning, David woke up with a pain in his back. Bella and Amy were nowhere to be seen. David was glad, thought they were gone. My good guy image is back. But when he opened the kitchen door, he was stunned. Bella and Amy turned the kitchen into a pigsty. David was angry and wanted to send them away, but it's clear they've made it their home. When I cannot drive two men away, David was so angry he wanted to call the police. Bella said she was under 15. David could get 20 years in prison if he calls the police. And she kept the evidence from last night. Where has honest David ever seen anything like this? He lost heart at once, trying to get away with losing money, that they didn't eat it. They continued to make mischief in David's room. No matter how much David drives him away, they would not go. David went for broke too. He picked up the phone. When the phone first came through, the little beauty unintelligent, she promised to let David see them off. David jumped at the chance to drive the two of you. Two people just got out of the car. David drove away without looking back. Back to home, David breathed a sigh of relief to get rid of these two evils. David began to tidy the room, looking at pictures of his wife and children. It was like going back to the old days. David was absorbed in his work in the evening. A noise was vaguely heard in the room. David went to the living room to investigate, only to see the picture fall on the floor for no reason. David looked down to pick it up. Amy showed up. When David wakes up, I found myself tied to the bed. Bella entered the room, wearing David's daughter's JK uniform. Bella went to bed and started to physically assault David. Amy is holding David's phone. I got the whole thing on video. David broke free of the rope. The slap slapped Bella to the ground. David got up and tried to get Amy. Amy jabbed a fork into David's shoulder. David passed out with the pain of an old injury. When David wakes up again, he was already strapped to a chair. Bella and Amy want to play a game with him. Then the doorbell rang. It was none other than David's friend Louis. Amy and Bella pretend to be David's nieces. Bring Louis into the room. Louis sensed something was wrong the moment he came in. He pulled out his cell phone to call the police. Amy is also trying to pull a penny trap on Louis. But Louis didn't like women. There was a noise in the house. Louis came into the house and found David. I haven't been able to untie David yet. Louis saw them destroying his favorite piece of art. Louis tried to stop it, but he slipped and fell. He lost his breath. Amy and Bella are more excited than ever. They disposed of Louis' body to go after David again. The two also told David they were going to kill David. David was stunned. He doesn't know what he did wrong. He's a good man. I got revenge for helping two people. Late at night, Bella and May start digging holes. They planned to execute David before dawn. David wasn't sitting still. held the tablet between his feet. He wanted to call his wife for help. The result was found by May. The tablet was thrown. Bella and Amy then go on a ramp up in the room. Suddenly one of David's hidden guns dropped to the floor. May got interested. She asked Bella to untie David. There's a game of hide and seek. They gave David 30 seconds to hide, and David was not too polite. Ran straight into the kitchen, found a knife and a pot and hid. When Bella and Amy are looking for him, David ran. He tried to get out of the yard, tripped over a ladder and fell to the ground. They tied David up again. Straight into the hole. David sat in the pit and called for help, but there were no neighbors around. Bella and Amy start digging holes, until David showed only one head. Tell his wife what he did to both of them. David agreed to come down. The call just went through. David yelled into his cell phone for the police. May had hung up the phone, and he took it for real this time. She held up a stone, and hit David in the head. It's a good thing the rock missed. David would have been scared to death. Now they no longer frighten David. They told David it was just a game. They've played this game with a lot of people. Unfortunately, no one can resist their charm. Same thing with David. Bella then posted a video of the couple online turned to leave. David did survive, but watching a video of myself would be hell. Bella and Amy then leave David's house. Start looking for your next target. David struggled to reach out to turn off the video. The phone fell over. David also gave his video a thumbs up. By this time the room was in chaos. All the photos and artwork have been spoofed by the pair. Now Mary came back with her 2 children. Look at the scene in the room. All 3 were shocked.